Welcome, Ayana. I'm so grateful to have you here today. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for having me, Catherine. It's been such a wonderful, transformative journey just being part of the Soul Diamond experience.
Thank you so much for giving me your hand. You know, I very carefully choose people who will be on this journey, and I'm so grateful to have you here with us. Let's open with a little bit about your story and what inspired you to be a part of the Soul Diamond Legacy.
Thank you. That's a very good question. I feel like I've been part of this Soul Diamond evolution my entire life. But as far as this chapter, for me, I felt compelled to kind of share my story after being kind of targeted for doing some work in health equity. And it was really kind of a topsy-turvy experience because being attacked and put on a list and being harassed, it really robbed me of my sense of purpose. And for many people, a sense of purpose is like one of the building blocks for joy. And I've been working with Catherine, you as my coach, and I needed to find a way to find my joy again. And this process was in defense of my joy to establish ways to become stronger again. And so even though I've been evolving as part of Soul Diamond, this chapter, this really allowed me to transform something that was really painful into something that strengthened me and really enhanced my resilience. And so this was a very beautiful experience for me to take something that was pretty harrowing to something that was more beautiful and I could share with the world and allow myself to really build with people with similar thoughts. And so it's been a very enlightening and growth building experience. I was just really happy to be part of this collaborative. And so I'm looking forward to the next steps and continuing to expand in this experience.
Thank you so much. As you mentioned, we were working together for a year and something, and you're such a gentle and beautiful soul. And I'm so glad that this was one of the projects which actually set the stage for you to shine your light. And this is the aim of the project to touch as many hearts as we can. In light of that, what does intuitive leadership really means to you?
Intuitive leadership, I think for me, means leading from a very authentic place. The reason why I enjoyed this journey, it helped kind of unearth this authentic voice that I sometimes ignored. And so it's interesting in reading the work of my co-authors that we all kind of had this period where we continue to kind of become more aware of our authentic voice. And for me, it means being very much in alignment with my higher self. And for me to be in alignment with my higher self means investing in joy, being very intentional, practicing gratitude, random, being kind, whether it was random or intentional. Also, just really being mindful of my sense of purpose. In addition to being very intentional about my joy, being able to establish healthy connections, moving away from a mindset that I'm too busy to collaborate, but learning how to maintain and create strong partnerships and allowing myself to expand through interaction with others. And last but not least, this was kind of really hard for me, which is acknowledging the importance of creative expression. As a scientist, I think it felt a little intimidating to acknowledge that I'm really an artist. And part of this experience was for me to just like boldly come out of this closet of being an artsy scientist. I think I've been fighting it my entire life, hiding my science side. And now this experience makes me want to boldly just be an artsy scientist and to share that. And so when you're not hiding, you can fully show up as yourself. And so for me, an intuitive leader is able to be authentic and to be able to reveal who they are to the world. And so that's what that means to me.
That's so deep and so true. And imagine in the whole world if every single person worked and think like that. The world would be a much better place, wouldn't it?
I
Uh,
agree.
Yeah. We're all diamonds, right? We all have diamonds inside of us, and diamonds are shaped under the pressure. What was that transformative moment or moments which actually shaped you to who you truly are today?
I really like that question and the statement you said before, they were all diamonds. And I just want to really say how much I appreciate the process because part of being part of this process is the idea that as we recognize that our challenges led us to becoming diamonds and we're all diamonds in the making, that we're really talking about allowing everyone to win. Now, as far as that transformative experience, it really happened like in my 20s. I so happened to have just graduated from college. I realized I wanted to return to my authentic self. You read the book, you'll understand what happened to me in college and why I needed to return to that. So during that summer, I was fasting. I was on a raw food diet. That means no cooked food. So I was eating raw fruits and vegetables and meat, nuts and seeds. And during that time, I was meditating. So I felt really in harmony with everything. I gotten a job by someone coming up to me and I was dancing. I decided to delay graduate school. And so at the end of the summer, this dance experience was beautiful, but the wonderful choreographer who was the head of this dance company, he was not always paying us on time. And so I was becoming a little concerned, but remember, I was pretty much harmonious, so I wasn't too concerned. My best friend had just left the company and was telling me, you need to quit. And so it was up in my head that I was like, I need to make a decision soon. So I went to the grocery store and I saw a member of my church. And because I was in harmony, I was able to move past my introverted nature and start a conversation. And do you know, at the end of that conversation, she just asked, what do you want to do next? Because I have a job for you at the Library of Congress. And so here, just by living in harmony, I had strong evidence that when I live close to my authentic self, things become revealed and offered to me. And having that conversation with her, not only did I get a very lucrative job at the Library of Congress, working with congressional members and doing research again, I also got a really good mentor. And so things just became linked together as I became more authentic and open and trusting of the process. So I think that became a major milestone because it was strong evidence to show that if you're in alignment with your higher self, things become revealed and life is not as difficult. Not to say you don't experience challenges, but certainly help comes when it's needed. And so that was a transformative experience I really enjoyed.
Thank you so much for sharing. Your chapter deeply touched my heart. I was reading it and when I was interviewing authors from the Soul Diamond Legacy, I often say I was crying, but I did. I really did. And those were tears of joy because we all gathered together to shine the light and to open our hearts. And your chapter especially is about that. So, for the end, for our listeners and for our audience to inspire them to read your chapter, what would be the words of wisdom we would like to leave them with?
One of the things that really stood out to me through this process of just writing and even just reading other co-authors that they talk about their authentic voice, finding a sense of purpose, being courageous, it really made me think about a quote by June Jordan, who was an activist and a poet, that we are the ones that we are waiting for. And that as diamonds, that we're all diamonds, and that in investing in ourselves, learning that authentic voice, that we can become what the world needs. And so for me, I would recommend in taking time and investing in the things that we quote unquote see as luxuries. Very often when it comes to things like creative expression, like whether you're baking a cake or going to an art class or spending time with friends and family. All of those feel very competitive to very ambitious careers or this desire to make money. But these things aren't luxuries. These are things that are actually very foundational and would help us achieve the things that we want more quickly and more harmony. And so I say all of that we don't have to look beyond ourselves. When we take time for ourselves and when we are more intentional with joy, when we take time to build healthy connections and allow ourselves to express creatively in a way that makes it real for us, we can become what our community needs. We can become what our family needs. More importantly, we become the best version of ourselves. And so essentially what I love about this book that it really shows how we can become the best versions of the world, of ourselves that will show up for the world. And so I'm really happy that across all the chapters, it echoes again and again that we are the ones that we're waiting for. And all of these stories really allow us to brilliantly shine as diamonds.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you for being part of this journey. Thank you for joining me on this podcast episode. I truly enjoyed, and I hope you did too.
Thank you, Kathleen.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye.